Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie, and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and also thank those of you who are returning for this week's energy update. Let's jump right in. Yesterday and today we've had some interesting energy with Mars in the sign of Virgo. It has been conjunct the South Node and in the sign of Virgo as well. And Mars in the sign of Virgo in itself has a lot to do with details and clearing details and, getting all the details organized, heavily organized, a lot of sorting and that type thing. But when the Mars conjuncts the South Node, this has a lot to do with karmic closeouts. And this energy is going to create a T-square with Venus on Wednesday of this week, just before the new moon. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But what I've noticed is karmic closeouts, some situations that individuals, clients, and or friends that have been part of this individual's life in the past, where they have been wronged, we'll say, karmically, they're swinging back around. I've seen some very significant karmic closures and karmic situations popping up in this area, Mars in Virgo. So anyway, that's enough of that. Moving into Tuesday of this week, we will have the Sun is going to move from the sign of Cancer and into the sign of Leo. The Sun in Leo is all about courage and leadership and pride, heart, coming from the heart. Leo is very heart focused. Can be someone who, the minute they walk in the room, they just captivate everyone's attention. What you want to do is be mindful of ego here, because there can be some ego aspects associated with this energy. What we want to be is heart focused, heart centered. Be a leader where you need to be a leader. A lot of leadership qualities fall in the sign of Leo. Then on Wednesday of this week, we will have the Sun that just newly went into Leo is going to sextile Uranus in Gemini. Really like this energy. Talk about sparks of genius. And your leadership qualities being called on, or areas that maybe you didn't necessarily consider yourself to be a leader. In an instant, you're being called to lead something. And it requires higher consciousness or expanded consciousness, because we've got Uranus here, in order to really capitalize on some of these opportunities or thought processes, light bulb moments, if you will. But it's the heart and the higher consciousness, higher mind expansion in a moment's notice. It's almost like information that comes in and poof, all of a sudden there's this expansion. On that same day, however, we will have Mars in that Virgo, which is still hovering around the South Node, is going to square Venus in the sign of Gemini. Now, with the North Node in Pisces, this is creating a T-square. And so there could be a choice that needs to be made, and somebody's going to be disappointed, or something's going to be disappointing about this choice. You want to take your time with this choice. It could be really heart-wrenching because Venus is involved here. Weigh the options if you can. Both Mars and Venus, as well as the nodes, are all in mutable signs. So you may pivot. There may be some indecision associated with this. In addition, we have Mars and Venus are in Mercury, as well as the South Node. They're in the Mercury-ruled signs, and as we know, Mercury is retrograde. So if you can wait, if there's a decision that's plaguing you that is very difficult to make, and if you can wait to make that decision, you'll want to wait until Mercury goes direct on the 11th of August, and if possible, until the 25th of August, when Mercury is not only direct, but completely out of shadow. That would be my advice. So not all decisions can make. If you have to make a decision, align it with compassion. You want to align with that North Node in Pisces energy. Step away from overthinking. That's a Virgo, Mars, especially Mars and Virgo. Step away from overthinking the details of everything, and or martyrdom. Martyrdom relative to obligations with others. If somebody's holding an obligation over your head, let's just say, and you feel bad about it, think about all that, break it down. Let go of what no longer is working and lean into higher consciousness. That vibration of the sun in Uranus sextile is something that's really going to help us here. I really do believe that. So kind of lean into that energy if you're having some difficulty on this day. Then the very next day, which is Thursday, we will have a new moon in the sign of Leo. That's ruled by the sun. And before the new moon, before the perfection of the sun and the moon conjunct, that sun is going to trine Saturn and then trine Neptune. Both Saturn and Neptune are retrograde. And the full moon, the new moon occurs around 3:15 here on the east coast of the United States. Now, I like the trine between the sun and Saturn and the sun and Neptune, because really this trine is helping to eliminate veils of illusion. Any areas where someone is spiritually bypassing, it's going to kind of melt away some of that energy. And as well, we'll be able to see where we are limiting ourselves through our belief systems or structures that we have created that limit us in some way. That sun is going to really help us to see that. And then we'll have the conjunction of the sun and the moon. And unfortunately, the downside of this is that moon and sun conjunction is going to be opposing Pluto, which is retrograde in the sign of Aquarius in a T-square with Haumea, which is in Scorpio. So Haumea in Scorpio is trying to birth a new beginning, new earth, new something. And it certainly has got its challenges with this with the sun and the moon opposite Pluto. There's a power struggle here. There's a challenging, intense power struggle or power dynamics that are at play here. You're being asked to be authentic. Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Be authentic and live from the inside out. Put aside ego issues. Align with the heart. This is Leo. It's a new beginning, asking you to be courageous and align with the heart. Accept any areas where your leadership may be required or may be just a necessary element. The new moon occurs, interestingly enough, at the same location where we had experienced earlier this year, I believe it was January through April, the Mars-Pluto opposition, which was huge power struggles. And so now this new moon is occurring at that same point or near that same point where those power dynamics were they were challenging. They were absolutely challenging. So we want to sit with that and take a moment and recognize and ask yourself, how have you transformed since then? Since that January through April, very difficult time, how have you transformed since then? We have Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune are all supporting this energy. So those outer planets, again, eliminating delusions or illusions, the veil is dropping, showing us limiting beliefs where we are being our own worst enemy by creating limits to our pure essence, let's just say. That's being exposed. Uranus brings in the higher consciousness, the expansion of higher consciousness, and Sadhana here is showing us where metamorphosis is necessary. There could quite possibly be patriarchal wounding involved here too that we need to let go of. We need to let go of this. We have 8 orbiting bodies, 8, between 0 and 2 degrees of their sign. This is a bold new beginning trying to come in. Be yourself courageously, Let whatever it is, this new beginning, let it fire you up. This is Leo. Let it fire you up from a heart-centered consciousness. Be yourself courageously. Be yourself. Pure essence is supported here. Higher mind, higher consciousness is supported here. Let whatever this new beginning is fire you up. Step away from ego and step into heart-centered consciousness, heart-centered transformations of metamorphosis. I love that. I decided to use the Dragon Oracle deck because, you know, I love to use this whenever fire signs are active, and this is a bold new moon in a fixed fire sign. The card that jumped out is the Emerald Dragon. Let's see what the book has to say. Emerald dragons are wise healers who prepare us to align with our true fifth dimensional blueprint. They work with the mighty Archangel Raphael, the Emerald Angel in charge of the development of the third eye. They clear our emotional body to leave us free to love, forgive, and open our hearts. These magnificent dragons also retune our mental body so that our thoughts support our divine perfection. This allows Archangel Raphael to pour emerald light through our spiritual body so that our physical body aligns with all we can be. They also open us up to cosmic abundance. Working with Archangel Raphael, they link us through our third eye to Jupiter and its ascended aspect, Jumbe. This is the planet of good fortune and beneficial rewards. The blessings that fall upon us may be financial, but not necessarily. And they are always fortuitous for our ascension pathway. The guidance that goes along with this card. Receiving this card invites you to fill your aura with emerald light so that the emerald dragons can enter your energy fields easily and consume all that no longer serves you. Breathe gently in and out of your third eye so that the emerald dragons can touch and open it. They will start to pull back your veils of illusion. This card indicates you are ready to receive healing, love, and the cornucopia of wonderful things. So relax at a deep core level and invite these magnificent dragons to bring good fortune into your life. Remember to be grateful for all the good that comes your way. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please do click the like button. If you want to co-create with me, share this video with somebody who could be helped by it. You want to know when videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button. And if you have any comments or suggestions, post them in the comment box